To add a module, first go to the area that you have called modules or lessons, and then make sure that your edit mode is on. Then go to build content and scroll down to learning module. Now, first thing you need to do is to add a name to it. And scroll down, and you can add information about your module in here. So for this module, you can even add your objectives there, lesson objectives. Now take a look at these options. It says enforce sequential viewing. That's if you do not want your students to move backwards and forwards. I wouldn't do that. Sometimes you may want to do that. Standard options will permit users to view this content so your students could see it. And you can opt to show table contents or not. For some students, the table of contents is helpful, and so I would keep it there and hit submit. Now you will find that the module is here, and notice that the icon has several pages on it. Okay. Now click on that module, and it says here it's time to add content. Use functions above to add it. So you can add an item. So for example, for your introduction, you can write it here. Okay. If you have any attachments, forms that you want your students to have, you can attach your file from your computer. Then you can submit. Okay, so there goes your introduction. Now what if you have a YouTube that you want to add to it? So you click on YouTube, and I can look for one that I might be able to use. Okay, so we go. Okay. Now here maybe, of course I should preview it first, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I am just going to click on select, and I can tell your students what to do with this video. For example, I could ask students to say, pay attention to this part or pay attention to that. What are they looking for? So now you could see that after my introduction, there's a nice video in here. Okay. Now you can build content that way. You could notice that you could also look for your SlideShare presentation in here. And this is an easy way for including multimedia for your work. Okay, let's say, again, just for the purpose of our demonstration, I'm going to go click on the first one and select it. And again, you can tell students what to do. What are they looking out for? What are they supposed to do after they viewed it? Those kinds of instructions you can add there. So now you can see that I have an introduction. I have two multimedia resources here. And so you can also add links, a web link, for example. And let's just say I want the name of it would be Second Life. I could just add the address here. Okay. I think that's the address. So we will submit. And you can provide a description. It's good to provide a description. So now this is a link, and you can see that the icon is a globe. Now for multimedia, the icon has this colorful splotches. Okay. Now when you're done with providing information for your students, it could be an item, a file, a web link, a photo, SlideShare, YouTube. When you're done with all of that, now it would be time to add an assessment. You want your students to have some way of testing their knowledge, or what do you want them to do? So you could create a test. Okay? And I'm just going to go click on sample week 1 test. and I'm just calling it Second Life Quiz. It's not actually a test. It has no questions, so you will need to create questions. Let's say it could be a true or false question. Okay, I'll write here. And there are other kinds of questions in here, but I would, and you could add your feedback. Okay, so we could submit. Okay, so now I have one item here with 10 points. That's probably not the case. Let's put it down to 1 point. Now just say okay for this one. Okay, and submit. And okay, I'm going to submit. And so here's an assessment, and you could see that it has a different icon in here as well. Now another thing that you need to add for your module is a Blackboard discussion board posting. So we are going to go to, in our case, the discussion board. Okay, and you create a forum there. I'm just going to call it the Second Life Forum and put your prompt here. So we're going to submit. Okay, and so there's the forum. Now we are going to go back to the module, that particular module with that particular lesson, and we are going to make a link. So it is a course link because you created it within the course. We go looking for it by clicking on Browse, and I could see that here's the Second Life Forum that I wanted. Please also, all right, please join the discussion. Of course, you want to be more descriptive. And so here we go. But now look at this. Well, I think I would want my students to have a discussion first before they take the quiz. So let me bring in the Second Life Forum up here, and the discussion first, and the quiz would be last. So you could rearrange your items. Let's say you want the SlideShare to go before the video. You could do that. Okay, so you just hover over on the left hand side. You would see an arrow, up and down arrow, and then you could click on it and drag it down to where you want it to be, so you could put it this way. Also, if you want to see your table of contents, there it is, and students can click on one item at a time. Okay. The other thing that I found helpful for students is, once I've created all of these items, I learned that if I put in numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, then students know they could print it out and use it as a checklist for whenever they finish a task. So, but I usually do this numbering when I'm already happy with where the items should be. So you could number them, and it helps students to see, where they are. It's just sort of a visual landmark tool for success here. Okay, and when you're done, okay, you can get out of edit mode, and you could see what your students would see. Okay, and there's I think my okay, so they would see something like this. Okay, here's number 2, here's number 3, we need to put number 4 there, and so on. It links, it takes them to the site because it's a link. So click on the last one, takes them to the forum. I could see that the quiz is not showing up. Something went wrong. So I'll go back to on, and when it's on, I could see that the quiz is there. So what is going in here? Look at this one, availability. Item is not available, which means I need to edit the test options, scroll down, and make it available for my students. Okay, and submit. And there we have it. So I'll turn it off again. Now my students can see the second life quiz. So that's just a brief tutorial on our activity. I hope that's helpful, and enjoy finishing up on your Blackboard this week.